Jack could turn a ring into a riot scene. Quick.
Oh! Holy shit!
But that was his job.
He fucked some people's lives up.
He stabbed the dude during a match.
Yikes.
He always had some type of fucking razor, taser, staple gun.
In a world where the lines of fiction and reality are blurred, no one pushed the boundaries further than Jerome Young, AKA New Jack.
I'm not selling out to y'all. If you don't like me, the hell with all of you.
The line in wrestling between cooperation and physical assault is blurred. You can only go so far without your opponent knowing that it's coming.
But how far is too far?
Fuck you, man. You know what you did. Period.
And what happens when a wrestler lost in his character is set loose in a world that rewards extreme violence?
You want to talk that big boy shit to me? I would dare you to come to my face and say that shit. I would dare you. I eat your ass alive. I dare you.
Far beyond the world of elbow drops and headlocks lies the underground realm of extreme hardcore wrestling, where fans' appetite for real-life brutality is endless. When audiences thought they'd seen it all, New Jack took it to a whole new level. Many of his performances bordered on criminal, and some crossed that line. In this episode, we'll pull back the curtain of wrestling's most provocative and controversial characters to reveal the man behind the monster and the legacy he has left in his wake.
Okay, so for someone who's totally not familiar, who is New Jack?
I could not sit here and swear in open court that anything that New Jack ever told me about his background was true or false. I've heard he was a bounty hunter. I've heard he had a number of justifiable homicides to his credit.
The way he talks, the way he walks, the way he carries himself, this brother is real.
Just imagine a badass, big African-American dude slinging drugs on one of the hardest streets in, like, Harlem, you know what I'm saying? If you fuck with him, he will kill you. Maybe not kill you, but he will fuck you up. He's that tough motherfucker, dude.
I went to a movie called New Jack City, just getting into wrestling there. And when I heard the name New Jack, I started playing with it in my head, like hearing fans chant New Jack, New Jack, New Jack, New Jack.
How did you come into wrestling? Like, who taught you the ropes?
Ray Candy. Well, I got in the ring with him, and he was like, trust me, let me train you. And then he told me something one day that fucked my head up so bad. You got to create something that you've never seen before. I said, what kind of mind fuck is that? You want to create a character? Create something you've never seen before.
When I saw Jack come out, he just instantly picked up the energy in the room, and people reacted to him. I'm Jim Cornette, and in the mid-90s, I ran a wrestling promotion in East Tennessee called Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Smoky Mountain Wrestling was looking to break into the Atlanta market, and we needed a heel. When I saw New Jack, he could project that aura of menace.
So it was like just straight up motherfuckers from the goddamn hood.
And he had an intensity on his face. And then he gets the microphone and he starts talking to the people, and this guy is talking a mile a minute, and he's getting people riled up.
I don't care nothing about these hillbillies not liking me. Get in this ring and I'll beat you like I own you.
If Eddie Murphy was a bad guy wrestler instead of a comedian, it would be New Jack. He could talk nonstop and he could say these things in an entertaining way, but he would make you hate him.
Beyond his natural charisma, New Jack infuses his character with a piercing level of real-world tension.
LA was hot at the time because of the Rodney King thing going on. OJ had just killed everybody in LA. South Central LA was on the map. And the whole gimmick, the Raider gear, the gold chain, I took all of that and put it into my character.
The Smoky Mountain Wrestling audience was predominantly white, predominantly redneck and hillbilly. All you had to say was, New Jack, go out, piss some white people off, and the rest was up to him. And it was gold. It was genius.
I'd like to send a special shout out to my homeboy, O.J. Simpson. Keep up the good work, baby. 2 less we got to worry about. You understand? Keep up the good work.
I was like, I want these motherfuckers to believe what I'm doing. I want them to believe what I'm saying is fucking real.
To enhance New Jack's cutting-edge character, he is paired with the perfect enforcer, another Smoky Mountain recruit named Mustafa Saeed.
He didn't say much, but he looked like he would kill somebody. And I said, a guy that can talk like this New Jack.
I'm here, and I'm gonna be here until I feel like I wanna leave.
And a guy that looks like Mustafa would be a great tag team.
So he said, what's your tag team name? I said, well, actually, we don't have a name. So then he said, what about the gangsters? I said, what about the gangsters? With an AS on the end.
Just picture a hard-ass freaking movie in the hood somewhere, dude, and they're the baddest-ass dudes in the hood. I'm the Sandman. I've been a professional wrestler since 1989. I'm the dude. I'm gonna play in a game of pool, and then when I lose, I wanna hit you over the head with a stick and drink your beer anyway. That's me in a nutshell. Yo, the gangsters had a lot of heat down there in them white neighborhoods.
The gangsters were a group of young, angry black men telling every white person everything every other black person wanted to say but couldn't.
You little Caucasian white devil, I told you that I would get you. The next time that I get to put my hands around that little pink neck of yours, I'ma choke the life out of you.
My name is D'Lo Brown. I'm a 26-year pro. God, that sounds so old. My role in the gangsters was I was their head of security. In reality, I was the bump guy. You know, the gangsters would lose no heat, but you could beat me and we can keep rolling.
Down goes D'Lo Brown. Hey, wait a minute.
New Jack would just stir people up so much. None of his stuff was written. And there are some times I stood there and I listened, I was like, ooh.
You wish I was like some more watermelon, chicken bone sucking black folk.
Check those promos out. When Mustafa's standing there next to him going, dude, that's what he was doing all day.
And you know what I'm saying? Nothing but rednecks up here.
That wasn't Mustafa being there for the interview. That was Mustafa.
Mustafa's crazy, bruh.
The dude was rolling pencil shavings in one of those blunt things, and he wanted me to smoke it with him. I'm like, no, dude, I'm good.
Was Mustafa smoking pencil shavings?
I plead the fifth.
He's like, Jack, this is the new shit. He had pencil shavings. He had some shit he had found growing on the side of the building in the bag. I said, if you spoke this shit, it's gonna come back and haunt you one day. He's like, nah, man, this some good shit, man. I'm fucked up right now. You're a trap. So we sit in the hotel. I hear the knock at the door. So I said, Jack, Mustafa downstairs fighting the cops. So we dropped everything. They had him handcuffed, face down. He blowing snot on the floor. And this is what Mustafa was saying. You wanna fuck me, don't you? I know you wanna fuck me. You know, what the fuck, man? I said, what the fuck is wrong with you? He was like, no, Jack, they wanna fuck me. Everybody wanna fuck me. I said, Mustafa, you just lost your goddamn mind.
The gangsters had embraced the idea that I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be a menace to society.
One night we did a show. I had been to the dentist and my mouth was sore to a point where I couldn't hardly talk. So I said, Mustafa, let's go to Walmart. And I bought a white baby dog. And I had a rope tied like a noose. And I walked out to the ring. I got in the middle of the ring and held the baby doll up. And they was like, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
New Jack had everyone so mad at the gangsters, Hitler could have walked out through the curtain and he'd have been a babyface.
I pissed people the fuck off. And we got so much heat to the point where these motherfuckers was like, we gonna kill them fucking niggas. And they said niggers. We gonna kill them fucking niggers.
Unleashing their unfiltered vision of the times, the gangsters are quickly becoming the hottest villains in the territory.
I wanted to get the gangsters right into the tag team title picture, so they have to attack the champions, the Rock and Roll Express.
Now, this is Ricky and Robert, the Rock and Roll Express. I mean, these motherfuckers been around forever, and they done been there and done it.
Taking controversy to a new level, they decide to recreate the 1992 police beating of Rodney King. But in their version, the roles are reversed.
Ricky Morton is knocked to the floor. All of a sudden, the gangsters and their posse, there's like 3 or 4 of them. Jack brought everybody he knew for this one. And they circled Ricky Morton in the middle of the ring, and he's bleeding, and he's looking at the fans in the front row, help me. And they beat the bejesus out of him with these nightsticks.
So when we got done, all the white people went out in the back, and they was waiting on us to come out the fucking door, and they had bricks in their hands and sticks, so we got behind the cops. They turned the fucking lights on and escorted us out of the fucking town. When I saw that, I knew we were doing our job.
The NAACP in Knoxville had called, and we don't think this is a good representation. So Jack took that, and he said,
some Negroes down in Knoxville calling themselves the NAACP or something or another. They don't like me. I say it once and I say it again. The hell with them homegrown monkeys.
Right, so from that point on, we started putting up a disclaimer. The views of the gangsters are not necessarily those of Smoky Mountain Wrestling or this station.
You thought maybe we was cotton pickers? Wrong. Maybe you thought you had some homegrown Negroes? Wrong.
Would you say that period in Smoky Mountain, like, was that fun?
No. To have somebody calling you a nigger, I ain't goddamn used to that shit. I said, I can't get used to it, and I ain't gonna try to get used to it.
The gangsters were literally a microcosm of what was going on in society at that time. And you drop us in the middle of the South, the N-word was freely thrown around like you would say hello. It was uncomfortable, but if they didn't say that, then we weren't touching that nerve. It's a pretty strange concept, yes. I want someone to hurl racial slurs at me.
I had this little boy come with me one day. He said, can I shake your hand? I stuck my hand out, and he rubbed my arm and looked at his hand. I said, why'd you rub my fucking arm and then look at your hand? He said, I'm sorry. My dad told me you rub a black person's arm, it'll rub off on you and you turn black. And I was just like, you little shit.
As their provocative routine runs its course, the gangsters jump at a sudden offer from a larger wrestling outfit, ECW.
ECW was Extreme Championship Wrestling. It was the brainchild of Paul Heyman that it would be the 1990s wrestling answer to the grunge music movement. It would be gritty and violent, and they'd blur a lot of lines. They were edgier, whether it be sexual content or violence or blood or what have you.
The stuff that you would see in one arena show was like, it was a whole hardcore night.
Well, I had been talking to Paulie and ECW. I had never heard of ECW. They invited me to come up there, and I told Cornette, I said, well, Paulie offered me a deal. He offered me a lot of goddamn money. And he was pissed about it.
I hated that they left on bad terms with me and me with them, but they couldn't have gone any farther in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Everything about ECW was not only more violent, but also it was more real to the point where the guys started the trend of really hitting each other with stuff and hurting each other. ECW was filled with wrestlers that would go too far already, and New Jack had to be the guy that went farther than anybody.
I'm like, welcome home, motherfucker, you know what I'm saying?
In June 1995, the gangsters leave the hostile crowds of Smoky Mountain and join the eclectic crew of Philadelphia's wildly popular ECW.
I told you, boy, we whooped their ass again.
When we got to ECW, we fit right in.
New Jack is on a mission here tonight in Atlanta.
And it was just like, fuck, we love this shit.
You gotta understand, dude, we're clicking hard, and we know that we're like the hottest thing like on the planet by like 96, 97. I was sent to meet New Jack at the hotel when he first came up from Smoky Mountain. So I was the first ECW guy he met. He got out of the car, and I'm like, all right, I liked him. He had swagger. He was like, don't fuck with me, which was cool by me, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, this guy's gonna fit right in. Our locker room was one big family. It's Tommy Dreamer, RVD, Taz, Sabu's, you know, New Jack.
Heading up this locker room of misfits is promoter Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman was the mad scientist.
Dude, he was everything. He was the writer. He was fucking the Steven Spielberg of all of it. You know what I mean? That dude is like super brilliant. All our careers were jumping, you know what I'm saying?
I think New Jack got in that environment, and he always had to be the most extreme guy in any situation, but there were no limits up there.
I come out with the weapons, diving on shit, fighting out in the audience, going through chairs and tables and knocking down chairs and shit. It was like blood and guts every goddamn night.
I truly feel that the reason why Jack was so violent, so extreme, because the way he grew up, his childhood, his upbringing, I think that plays a part in who he is. I mean, it has to.
My childhood was fucked. I had a daddy that was alcoholic. He hated my mom. One night, she came home from work. When she walked in the door, he pulled out a knife and he stabbed her 5 times. He stabbed her. in front of the whole family. He didn't give a fuck. He stabbed her. A few months later, she was like, I'm leaving. She picked me up, tried to put me in the car. He shot her in the back of the leg. This is what I grew up around. And I'm like, you wonder why sometimes I flip the fuck out?
New Jack's outlet for violence has taken him to new heights in ECW. But on November 23rd, 1996, a chance encounter with a novice wrestler is about to send shockwaves through the entire wrestling world.
Can you tell me a story of the mass transit incident?
I knew that was coming. He was 17, he told us he was 21. And he had a little person with him.
Listen, New Jack, I'm not gonna lie, he was intimidating. That's because he was always presenting the image that he was sinister. Hi, my name is Tiny the Terrible. I was just basically one of those midget wrestlers that wanted to be considered not really as a midget wrestler, just as a wrestler that was just sure.
So tell us what we're watching here.
Jerry Springer, Twin Terrors. Over 52 million people viewed this episode. Jerry's the one that gave me the first opportunity to really speak on a nation level like that.
Did people recognize you after?
Oh, yeah.
What was that like?
Oh, great, man. You know, that's how I got most of the pussy I got.
People, I'm used to having good-looking women.
That's true.
You know, I'm not gonna sit here.
Look, ego too. 'Cause I've been on TV, you know. New Jack was like, if you went out of a script, he would make you pay for it. If you're gonna cut somebody all the fuck up on their first match, that don't make no fucking sense. And you know, and that's basically what happened with a Eric Koulas type situation.
Teenage wrestler Eric Koulas calls himself Mass Transit. Dressed in a bus driver gimmick, his matches with Tiny and his brother attract the attention of ECW.
He's seen the tape of Eric Koulas and my brother wrestling. Paul Heyman couldn't believe that a big guy could work with midgets, because that's like unheard of.
The three are asked to appear at an upcoming match in Revere, Massachusetts.
The best wrestling is not be able to discern the line between fiction and reality. That was one of the big appeals of ECW.
I'm Stu Kaplan.
I'm John Donovan.
And we were doing security for the show. I was upstairs, I had a walkie-talkie, and someone came on talkie and said, there are some guys here for the show. I saw Eric Koulas come in. I didn't know who he was. I had no idea who he was. And I knew everybody. And they went into the back of the locker room. And that was literally the last time I saw Eric until he came out for the match.
No one knows that Eric has lied about his age, claiming to be 21. In reality, he's a 17-year-old minor.
Axel Rotten didn't show up for the show. He had a family emergency. So he was like, he gets a tryout.
They decided to cut us out. Eric just cut us off and just went for self.
This untrained teenager who claimed to be a professional wrestler and had probably wrestled a few local shows shows up. They needed somebody for New Jack to beat up. So they said, okay. That was their first mistake.
So Paulie was like, Jack, y'all go for like 7 minutes, and whatever you want to do to the fat kid, just do it. I said, Paulie, what I'm gonna do to him, people gonna be talking about this 10 years from now. Well, it's been 20 years and we still talking about it.
By the end of 1996, New Jack has taken his controversial career to dangerous new heights in the violent world of ECW. Now, a last-minute change has landed him in the ring with novice wrestler Eric Koulas.
You know, we're on the grounds now of the Wonderland Dog Track where the ECW famous gangster Eric Koulas incident happened. And we got here early. We got here probably 2 or 3 hours before the show. But there were still people here. And, you know, ECW, ECW. And, I mean, I can feel it. I'm getting goosebumps now because that's what you got.
So the untrained teenager that's maybe had 3 local matches in his life is now going to wrestle New Jack.
I saw Eric coming out, and I'm like, wow, that was the guy that, with his father, when he came, he must have gotten on the show.
Eric Koulas is paired up with Devon Dudley, replacing Axel Rotten in their tag team match with the Gangstas.
Mass Transit, this big teenager, went up to New Jack and told him he wanted to get some offense in.
He came up to me and he was like, can I do this? Backdrop you out the ring, push you through a table. And I said, fuck no. That's one of the most disrespectful things that you could do as a wrestler, to come to a vet and tell him what you want to do.
So that's what pissed Jack off. All right, now it all makes sense. So why Jack was like, I'm gonna cut this motherfucker.
He wanted me to cut him. He had already pissed me off at the time, so I was like, I'm good with it. I'll cut the shit out you. I ain't trying to kill him, but I want to go close to death.
Not only did the kid want to get some offense in, but he wanted to have a great match, so he wanted to bleed. There are a number of ways to do it. There's the hard way, which is basically when you agree with your opponent that he's going to punch you in the eyebrow or the cheek or in some place to bust you open. There's also the easy way. You take a common razor blade, something you find around the house, and you trim it in a fashion that you can wrap it in some tape, and then you can keep it on your wrist, in your mouth, in the waistband of your tights. In wrestling, it was a common gimmick. The blade was never intended to be an X-Acto knife.
I've been getting high all day. I mean, so I was high as fuck. So we told Devon, we said, we're gonna throw you out of the ring and don't get back in.
You know, Devon didn't get touched, didn't get hit. Everything was mostly focused around Eric. And it was mostly New Jack giving it to Eric.
I started beating on him. I was beating him with everything. So when it came time for us to get color, I had a surgical scalpel, they're about that long, and I had it taped to a stick. So I stuck him in the forehead a couple of times, and did nothing happen. See, I just sliced him, and blood was skeeting out. I'm sure you saw it. And I beat the shit out of the kid.
His father was there in the audience.
Mustafa picked him up and slammed him. He was bleeding everywhere. The referee didn't even come to the goddamn ring.
I'm standing there. And I can see over my shoulder. They need paramedics, but New Jack was firing up the crowd. At that point, I'm like, okay, let's just get him out. I knew we were part of history.
A defiant middle finger from Eric seems to suggest he's okay. But everyone at ringside can see that's not the case, especially his family.
His father trying to get in the back, but I'm not going to let him get into the locker room or near New Jack.
Did Eric's father say stuff to you?
He was just calling me a nigger. He's like, you fucking nigger, you stabbed my son, you goddamn nigger. You know, we was off camera then, and all bets was off. I'd have killed that old man.
And I went backstage with him, but I was like, was it worth it? He said, hey, man, they fucked me up.
I was the next match. So I bled like a stuck pig that night because I was trying to take a little bit of the heat off of New Jack.
Oh, we got in an argument in the car. Eric's father was like, where you guys going? I said, oh, you're fucking giving us a ride back. Oh, no, I ain't. I'm not giving you a ride back. I said, Steve, yes, to fuck you up, or we're gonna be fighting again up in this motherfucker. And, you know, he got in the van, we went to the hospital. I remember him taking the bandage off in the car, pulling his hair up, and just looking at it in the fucking mirror.
Eric received 50 stitches for his injuries and says he never wants to get in the ring again.
I have no feeling from here to here. I have like an indentation in my head from where all the nerves died.
It changed him. He was depressed and all that other shit, so.
The underground world of hardcore wrestling is exposed to unprecedented national attention as New Jack is charged with assault and battery.
So he took me to trial, told my attorney, I said, are they offering me a deal? He said, right now they want you to do 5 years. I was like, no. He said, Jack, I think I can beat this case.
The brutalization of teenage wrestler Eric Koulas has created a media frenzy and exposed the shocking world of hardcore wrestling. Now, a court will decide if New Jack must answer for the assault with prison time
Did you do any of this? You don't want to give your side?
I'm gonna go to court.
Now understand something. It was a 6-jury panel. 1 80-year-old black guy and 5 white women. He was gnawing out. And I was like, that's my savior. I'm like, stay awake, motherfucker. You my savior. You know?
What was your sort of role in the trial?
Explaining how Eric knew what he was doing. If he can wrestle with us, he can wrestle with a big guy.
It's our view that he knew exactly what was going to happen. He was prepared to go into the ring. He knew about the props.
Because, I mean, at that time, Koulas wasn't on my side. We weren't fucking friends. The only person that really wanted me in this was New Jack. And I said, Jack, it's up to you. This is what I want. I want to work in WWE. And New Jack promised me, if I get off Tiny, I swear I will take care of you.
They had Paulie on the stand. The DA asked him, what did Mr. Koulas call Jerome Young? Paulie was like, he called him the N-word. The DA said, for the record, say it. Paulie looked at me, he said, Jack, I'm sorry. He said, he called him a nigger. The old juror, the black dude, he set up, he was like, and the white woman was like, oh. I was laughing so hard. I sit down, I was like, oh, he tried to do that. And he was working the motherfuckers. I mean, he was working the shit out of the goddamn, the judge, the DA, the fucking jurors. He did what he don't do best, he worked. And that's what he did, he was working.
When the jury learns Eric lied about his age and experience, the balance shifts in New Jack's favor.
They deliberated for that day, came back the next day. They found me not guilty.
And I ended up working for WWE. I ended up doing promos and shit with Shane, Big Show, and Triple H. Yeah, Stephanie McMahon's introducing me and my partner as the Twin Towers to go against The Rock.
What was it like for you to walk out to the crowd
Oh,
like that?
fucking great, dude. Here's me, here's my partner that can do the eyebrow. And this was fresh after Eric Koulas. So it was like, New Jack, I don't know what the hell he did, but there was my spot right there.
Do you remember how Eric Koulas passed?
I didn't even know really until like years later. I forgot how it went, but people say, yo, you know, Eric died.
After failing in criminal court, Eric's family tries to sue New Jack in a civil suit for damages caused by the incident. But in 2002, he dies from complications resulting from gastric bypass surgery.
And then what was your reaction to learning that he passed away?
I ain't fault. Well, my fault. I heard about it, I'm like, oh well.
I have to indict New Jack for this because he went too far. But also, the image of ECW allowed guys to go way too far and think that nothing would happen.
The mass transit incident has set a dangerous precedent, and it's New Jack who has opened the door to a lawless new era.
New Jack started trying to go farther and farther, not only with the blood and the edginess of the content, but also the spectacular bumps and falls.
I was the only one that probably started coke in the locker room. I mean, it was like a boost. You know what I mean? It was like, if I get high, I can go get high. And I was snorting every night.
Once you've jumped off a 10-foot balcony, what's next? Jump off a 15-foot balcony, and then a 20-foot balcony. And at some point, there's no way that this can end well, even if you do it right.
Yeah, you have any favorite dives?
Well, the one that people always talk about, me and Big Grimes.
Imagine Humpty Dumpty with arms and legs as a professional wrestler. That's kind of how he was shaped, you know what I'm saying? You couldn't hurt the guy.
Vic Grimes wanted to be run over with cars. He wanted to be hit with things. He thought that was what wrestling was.
In the year 2000, Vic Grimes is booked to wrestle New Jack in a match featuring a dangerous climax.
When we climbed up on top of the scaffold, it was shaking. Vic was like, I can't do it, it's too high. Now we on pay-per-view. There's no time for error. I said, Vic, let's go on 3. He said, Jack, I can't do it. I said, fuck you, we going on 3. I said, 1, 2, 3, and I pulled him. He did this flip, and his back landed up against the side of my head, and I cracked my skull. I never recovered from that. I broke my leg. I lost my sight in my right eye. To this day, I get headaches every day, and I have insomnia because I cracked my skull. Vic, see, this is all your fault, you dumb fuck.
That's one of Jack's rules. Don't say you're gonna do something and get up there and chicken out. Jack's kind of guy that if you break those rules, well then he'll probably break you.
A year after the horrific fall that cracked open his skull, New Jack agrees to a rematch with Vic Grimes with even higher stakes. What Grimes doesn't know is that New Jack is out for revenge.
Before the match, I went to a pawn shop and bought a stun gun.
But yeah, I was there when New Jack, and he told me he was going to do it before it happened, too, so.
What did he want to have happen?
He told me he was going to tase the motherfucker.
In the locker room. He came up to me. I was ready to kill this motherfucker. He said, I'm sorry. I said, motherfucker, you didn't even call me. I stayed at home for almost a year. I said, you didn't even call me to see how the fuck I was doing.
This is the highest elevation of any match in the history of our sport.
Bro, I mean, I was high. You know what I mean? I was high as a motherfucker. So I just tased him. I tased the shit out of him. He's like, Jack, I can't feel my legs. I said, you ain't gonna need them. Bums away.
Vic was a foot from missing the ring completely, which would have killed him.
I wanted him to hit the floor. I just didn't throw him hard enough. I was trying to throw his ass to the fucking floor.
So we don't piss Jack off, because a fight's never over until Jack says it's over.
I can't believe he didn't, die.
It's the luck of fools that this guy was not at least paralyzed. And I don't think Jack was particularly broken up about it.
I climbed down off of that fucking scaffold, and I went up to him, and when he was laying in the ring, I told him, I said, now we even, you fuck.
Vic Grimes is gonna need medical attention.
Could you have got him for attempted murder? I don't know. I mean, I think throwing some off a scaffolding kind of is right on that line.
Incredibly, Grimes' worst injury is a dislocated ankle. Once again, New Jack has pushed hardcore beyond its limits. But the demand for this kind of extreme action is only getting more intense. And now, he's having to compete against the new generation of hardcore wrestlers, willing to give and receive disturbing levels of punishment.
So it became a one-upsmanship, and can you top this, and got into a position where you had to go further and further to keep that position, and then it became his calling card.
Do you think there was ever a match where you think you went too far?
Well, I can name a few of them, but I would say probably Gypsy Joe. Oh, Lord. Hold on. I looked at how old he was, but then I forgot when we got in the ring.
In 2003, New Jack faces off against 72-year-old journeyman Gypsy Joe, who promotes himself as a man impervious to pain. The problem is no one's bothered to tell New Jack.
The promoter was thinking, oh, this is going to be the today's hardcore icon and the old pro from yesteryear that everybody knows is tougher than a $2 steak.
So the night of the show, Joe comes up. He said, just listen to me, kid. I can teach you a lot. I said, you talking to me? We didn't talk no more. I went to the ring. Joe comes to the ring.
And Gypsy Joe, as per his gimmick, wasn't selling New Jack stuff, because you really have to hit Joe to make him go down and register because he's so tough.
So then they listen to these fans. Go home, nigger. Fucking nigger. And then I was pissed. I started beating Joe like that motherfucker owed me money. I beat the shit out of him. Outside the ring, I got a bat. They had barbed wire wrapped around it. They hit him in the head like 3 times.
Jack just said, fuck this old man.
I threw a row of chairs on him, and they got louder. Go home, nigger, you fucking nigger. And dude, the more they said it, the more pissed off I got. And I beat the shit out of a 100-year-old man, which the match never should have happened in the first place.
With New Jack's escalating violence comes a higher level of risk, and not just for those willing to take him on.
Was New Jack, you think, a liability for promoters?
I think some people look at him as a liability, but yes, some promoters would, yeah, absolutely.
New Jack never made it to the WWE because they were never going to touch him, because he was too controversial. They were afraid of lawsuits, they were afraid of bad publicity, they were afraid he was going to hurt somebody.
With the mainstream appeal of hardcore now in decline, New Jack is resigned to working for much smaller outfits in the independent circuit, some of whom can barely muster a crowd. Despite this, New Jack isn't slowing down, and he crosses the line again in 2004.
I've had many trials in my life, yet I keep trying to do what's right.
We bonded really, really well. I'm an MWW, independent recording artist now, but I was a wrestler / promoter. When he hit Florida and he had to come through Jacksonville, he was staying at my house. Jack is comical. If you really ever get to know him, he's just a comedian and a great cook.
Any examples of like what are the things he would cook?
Spaghetti. But he enjoys making sure that everybody's happy.
Out of the fire.
Wow.
That's one of mine. The federation that I used to own and promote was Thunder Wrestling Federation. Thunder had started gaining some momentum, and Jack had been there a couple of times.
New Jack's opponent is William Jason Lane, wrestling under the name Hunter Red.
That night, Red had asked me if he could wrestle Jack. When you wrestle an icon, it kind of moves you a little bit. It's on your resume. And I said, well, Red, that's a whole different ball game.
Hunter Red comes up, he's like, what you wanna do? I said, dude, we're going in the back and talk about this. He said, well, we can talk about it now. I said, no, we're going in the back and talk about it. So I laid it out. I said, well, this is what we're gonna do. And in the middle of me talking, he got up, he said, all right, whatever, what the fuck, whatever the fuck, fuck it. I'm looking around like, what the fuck? That's who put him up to this? I said, I will see you in the ring. What the fuck ever we do, I'll just whatever.
Something was troubling Red. The actual reality of wrestling New Jack, I think it kind of set in.
Once again, I've been snorting coke. Once again, I was high as a motherfucker, drinking vodka, like I'm doing now. And I had a claw, a Wolverine claw. It had these 3 blades on it. One of the blades that broke off, I had it in my pocket.
When the match began, Red picked New Jack up and sat him in a corner.
And he punched me. My nose is big enough, I don't need nobody to help me get this motherfucker no bigger. Then he punched me again, in the nose.
It looks like this guy's really hitting Jack hard, and then Jack, well, the way Jack moves across his ring, now he's hooking him, and he's talking to him.
I said, you trying to handle me? I said, you really trying to handle me?
Uh-oh. Jack's reaching in his pocket for something. He's cutting him. What the, oh my, he's stabbing this mother. Run. Oh, shit. Ooh.
It's never good when you open a wrestling video with a shot of a stage and an empty bandstand. Oh, good Lord. What is there, 30 people there? So the guy comes in the ring, they lock up. Okay, already he's pissing New Jack off. And he pulled a knife out of his fucking pants and is now apparently stabbing this guy who's trying to get away? What the fuck is going on here? But is he actually stabbing this fucking guy? Look at that woman with her hand over her mouth, and the kid, the 10-year-old kid is sitting there going, this is a first in 125 years of wrestling history. Yeah, this is not something that does the public image of professional wrestling a world of good. The line in wrestling between cooperation and felonious assault is also one of those lines that's blurred. But I always looked at it this way. If 2 guys agree to something beforehand, and everything that happens in those parameters, they are working together. If something happens that is egregiously outside those parameters, such as just take a knife and just slash a guy's face, that's crossed the line from cooperation to felonious assault.
I stuck him like 9 times. On the news, they said 16. I said, no, it was 9. I counted, it was 9.
For the second time in his career, New Jack's violence in the ring lands him in trouble with the law, and the evidence against him is impossible to ignore.
The guy that called the cops, he said there's been a stabbing at the Ramada Inn. There's a black guy with camouflage on stabbing a white guy. So that's how they treated it. The cops came in, guns drawn. Get on the floor.
I remember the police officer asking Jack, why do you hate white people? And I just looked at him. But I thought that was really inappropriate. They put Red on a stretcher, and Jack left in a police car.
New Jack is charged with aggravated battery and faces up to 15 years in a Florida prison.
They took me to jail. Hunter Red come up to the jail. I'm like, why are you here? He said, I got an idea. I'll drop the charges. You take me on the road, and we can make an angle out of this. Hunter Red is looking for New Jack. He's out for revenge. He said, we could do the whole Florida circuit. I said, well, you gotta drop the charges first. I stayed in jail for 3 weeks. He went and dropped the charges. I went home, put my shit in storage, and I left Florida. That was the last time I talked to him. I mean, it was on the news, and my mom saw it. And she was like, oh my God, I can't believe you went up there and you stabbed somebody in the ring. You should be ashamed of yourself. I'm like, bitch, it was a fucking show. What the fuck? Leave me alone. You know what I mean? Because me and my mom, we never got along. She didn't fucking back me when I was wrestling. I'm like, bitch, I got action figures in Toys R Us. How many of your fucking friends' son got action figures in Toys R Us? My dad died when I was 5. He died when I was 5. But I remember the fucked up shit he did before he died. And I'm like, you wonder why sometimes I flip the fuck out? Because motherfucker, I was raised in a family that was fucking retarded. So I'm like, if I show up for a show and I go out there and do my thing, be grateful that I ain't attacking your ass. You know what I mean?
The thing with Jack is he was too much into his gimmick. He carried that wherever the fuck he was at. There wasn't no Jerome Young. It was just New Jack.
New Jack can't benefit from any of this reputation he's got anymore because he's pretty much his active career is over with. So I think now it's more of an albatross around his neck.
I was New Jack when I came in the door, and I'm still New Jack.
And so then, who is Jerome Young?
That's a difficult question because the line is blurred between Jerome Young and New Jack.
If there's a difference, I don't know because I don't know if I ever met Jerome Young. I don't think I wanted to know for sure. Because here was a guy that I could even halfway believe in.
The best part about it is the legend, believe it or not, is probably going to be bigger than the person. You know what I'm saying? How stories get, the tales get taller and taller and bigger and better as the time goes.
He perfected his craft and brought it to the highest level that he could bring it to because he knew it would leave a lasting impression.
New Jack leaves behind a complicated legacy. Pioneering, unrepentant, but above all, without compromise.
I don't need nobody out here cheering for me, and most of all, partner, I don't need you.
I believe people like that shouldn't get away with it. You know, New Jack ain't gonna probably like what the fuck I'm saying about it. Fuck you, man. You know what you did. You fucked up innocent people.
Eric Koulas's family declined to participate in this documentary, stating it was too traumatic to revisit the circumstances and aftermath of the incident in Revere, Massachusetts.
Let's say one day they decide to like make a movie about your life. What would be the end of the New Jack movie?
I'm sitting in a wheelchair, snorting coke. I'm just sitting there snorting coke, just getting high as a motherfucker. And it'd be like the end. I'd be like, thank you, bitches.